Hello and welcome back, future scientists. I'm Mr. K with Mississippi Public Broadcasting, and we're going to continue our lesson today on meiosis. What I thought would be really helpful is if we compared and contrast meiosis with mitosis. They are very similar, but there's a couple of key differences that we need to be aware of. Also, when you compare and contrast stuff, it kind of just generally makes it easier to remember. So that's our goal today. I'm going to start off with a brief overview of meiosis. I know we've been talking about it a lot recently, but it might have been a couple of days since you've really thought about it. So we're going to review meiosis, and then we're going to compare it with mitosis, which we've talked about earlier this year. So let's go ahead and get into that review of meiosis. So first of all, remember that meiosis is actually broken into two different phases, meiosis 1 and meiosis 2. During meiosis 1, we do PMAT. And because this is the first time we're doing them, we call it prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1, and telophase 1. Okay, so what are some key things that happens in each? Let's start with prophase. Remember, an easy way to remember these in order is just PMAT. So the first part is prophase. Prophase is the longest and most complex part of meiosis. What happens here is the nuclear envelope is going to dissolve, the chromosomes condense, and then these things are specific to meiosis. Crossing over is going to occur, and those homologous chromosomes are going to form that tetrad, and then they're going to exchange genetic material. And exchanging genetic material is known as crossing over. Okay? Then we'll get into metaphase 1. The key thing to remember about metaphase is that the chromosomes line up in the middle. So middle and metaphase both start with the letter M. Something important that only happens in meiosis is this idea of independent assortment. Okay, we can take these chromosomes and sort them independently of each other. So you can really get any combination of chromosomes. Okay, then we'll move into anaphase 1. The key word to remember for anaphase is apart. These chromosomes are moving away from each other. And a key word that I want you to notice here is homologous chromosomes. Anytime you see the word homologous chromosomes, we're in meiosis 1. So what happens in anaphase 1? Well, the homologous chromosomes are separated. When we get to anaphase 2, instead of homologous chromosomes, we'll see sister chromatids. Okay? Once those chromosomes have been separated from each other, we'll move into telophase 1. The key word to remember for telophase is 2, because we can actually see the cell dividing into two daughter cells, and these daughter cells each are haploid, which means they have half the number of chromosomes that we started with. Okay, so that's an overview of meiosis 1. When this happens, we go directly into meiosis 2. There is no interphase in between. So once we've done PMAT once, we'll move into meiosis 2 and do PMAT over again. So what happens in prophase 2? Well, the chromosome pairs start moving towards the equator, and the spindle fibers are going to begin to form. After prophase 1, we'll get into after prophase 2, we'll get into metaphase 2. During metaphase 2, the chromosomes pairs align along the equator of the cell, and the spindle fibers attach to each chromatid at the centromere. So again, here in this description of metaphase 2, I see spindle fibers attached to each chromatid. So again, that's a clue. If you ever see chromatid or sister chromatid, you're probably in meiosis 2. Okay? So after metaphase 2, we'll move into anaphase 2. Let's see what's happening here. So in anaphase 2, the chromatids of each chromosome are separated and move towards opposite poles of the cell. Then we'll get into telophase 2. Telophase, what's happening here is that the cell is basically dividing, and so now we started with 2 cells in meiosis 2, and each of those are going to divide into, we'll have a total of 4 cells here, okay, at the end of telophase 2. And so the overall outcome of meiosis 2 is that we'll have 4 haploid daughter cells that are produced, each with a single set of chromosomes, and those 4 haploid daughter cells are all unique. They are different from one another. Okay, so that's just a brief overview of everything that's happening in meiosis. What I wanted to do now is compare it with mitosis. Okay, you might need to think back a little bit. I know it's been a while, but mitosis and meiosis are very similar, but there's a couple of key differences that we're going to discuss here. So let's go ahead and kind of compare and contrast these. Make sure you're following along because I'm going to have you try this here in just a second. I have a Venn diagram with a lot of this information. So if you're following along now and on the next slide, when you get to that worksheet, it's going to be a lot easier. So make sure I have your attention up on the front up here. So let's compare mitosis and meiosis real quick. Okay, these are the key differences that we want to focus on. So first of all is the number of daughter cells. In mitosis and meiosis, we start with one cell, but how many do we end with? In mitosis, we're going to end with 2 cells, but in meiosis, we're going to end with 4 cells. So we actually make more cells through meiosis, but that's because we're dividing twice. Okay, so how many number of cell divisions are there? Well, in mitosis, we only divide once, but in meiosis, like I just said, we're actually going to divide twice. And that's how we can make 4 cells instead of just 2. All right, let's talk about the number of chromosomes in the daughter cells. Remember that daughter cells is a way to say the cells that we're ending with. We start with the mother cell and we end with the daughter cells. So how many chromosomes are in those daughter cells? Well, in mitosis, it should be same as the parent, right? In humans, it would be 46, but every organism has different number of chromosomes. So whatever you start with is going to be the same thing as you end with in mitosis. What about meiosis? Are we going to have more? Are we going to have less? We're actually going to have half of the parent. So in humans, we have 46 chromosomes. Through meiosis, we're going to make sex cells, egg and sperm, that have half of those chromosomes. So our sex cells only have 23 chromosomes each. Okay, let's compare the daughter cells to the parent cells in each of these processes. So in mitosis, we're starting with 1 cell, we end with 2 cells. How similar are the daughter cells to the parent cell? Well, they're going to be identical. This is really, really important for mitosis. We want those cells to be identical, as same as humanly possible. That's going to cut down on mutations and cancer and things like that. Okay, in meiosis though, we start with 1 cell, we end with 4 cells. How similar or different are those cells to each other? Well, each one is going to be different. All 4 daughter cells through meiosis are unique. They're all different from one another. And this is why you and your siblings, if you have siblings, you might look similar, but you don't look identical. And that's because each of those daughter cells had different information. And so your DNA is not exactly like your siblings unless you have an identical twin. Okay, and then what type of reproduction is this? One of these is asexual and one of these is sexual. Okay, well, mitosis is actually going to be asexual. We're not using these to reproduce sexually. This is how we can make 1 cell and take 1 cell and make 2 identical cells out of it. So that's asexual. Meiosis, on the other hand, is a sexual form of reproduction. We're making gametes. The gametes have half the number of cells as most body cells, and that's because when they come together through sexual reproduction, we can make a zygote with the correct number of chromosomes. Okay, so here's what's going to happen next. This is kind of a cheat sheet, and I'm going to leave this up here on the board for y'all. I have a Venn diagram, and what I would like for you to do, teacher, if you could take that Venn diagram, pass it out to your students, okay? They can use this as a little cheat sheet, but after about 10 minutes, why don't y'all come back to me and I'll review it with y'all in case we got it confused or kind of, got something wrong there, okay? So go ahead, take a couple minutes and you work on that, and when you're ready, come back to me, unpause the video, and we'll review it together. All right, y'all, so I hope that didn't give y'all any problems. It can be a little tricky, so just in case anyone got a little confused, I'm going to go over it with y'all up on the board here, okay? I'm going to do the column on the left, and then the column in the middle, and then the column on the right. Y'all feel free to change or add anything you don't have, and then keep up with this. Put it in a notebook or somewhere where you won't lose it. This would be a really good thing to study for this test because it has a lot of that information all in one place. Also, comparing and contrasting is supposed to be one of the best ways to remember information, so this would be a great little cheat sheet if you're trying to study for this test. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started and see what y'all came up with. All right, so top left corner, this one says, used for growth and repair of cells. So which one are we using to repair cells or grow new body cells? Which one, mitosis or meiosis? What do y'all think? This one is a better description of mitosis. So I'm gonna put growth and repair. I'm gonna kind of shorten these a little bit, but I think y'all will get the gist. So we use these for growth and repair of new body cells. If you get a wound, if you like scrape some skin off your arm on a bad bicycle crash, your cells need to be replaced, and we're going to use mitosis to make new ones. So that's how we can use mitosis for growth and repair. The next one says includes one cell division. Which one has one cell division? They are both forms of cell division, but one only divides once and one divides twice. So in mitosis, this is going to include one cell division. One cell division. Okay? Great work. All right, let's keep it going. The next one says, each gamete has a unique combination of genes. The key word there is unique. Okay, so the daughter cells that we're producing are going to be different from one another. Is that describing mitosis or meiosis? Well, meiosis is going to be a unique combination. Okay, so gamete, unique combination. Great. All right, let's do the next one. Let's keep it going. This says, produces identical cells. Which one of these produces identical cells? That's going to be the mitosis, okay? Identical cells, okay? The next one says a type of cell division. Which one of these is a type of cell division? Well, I think both of them are. So I'm going to put cell division here in the middle. Okay, cell division. Okay, great work. Okay, this one says includes PMAT. Which one of these are we using PMAT in? Well, PMAT actually also goes in the middle. Remember, PMAT stands for the phases that we go through: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase. In mitosis, we do it once, and in meiosis, we do it twice. But they do both include PMAT. All right, the next one here says results in 4 daughter cells. Which one makes 4 daughter cells? That's going to be the meiosis, okay? So 4 daughter cells. Great. All right, the next one here says occurs in ovaries and testes. Okay, ovaries and testes, these are our reproductive organs. So which one has dealing with reproductive organs and reproductive cells? That's meiosis, right? So we'll put ovaries and testes, okay? The next one says can occur in plants and animals. Can occur in plants and animals. That one also goes in the middle. I wanted to include that one because it's really easy to forget when we're talking about mitosis and meiosis. We usually always just talk about humans because that's what we are and it's easiest to study. But I did want to just put that in there to remind y'all that everything, plants and animals, are doing these processes, mitosis and meiosis. Okay, so it does happen in plants and animals. Okay, let's do the next one. So this says occurs in body or somatic cells. Which of these is dealing with body cells? Well, that's the mitosis. Okay, I'll put body cells over here. Okay, this happens in almost every cell in your body other than the gametes, and then this one is the gametes over here. Okay, so let's keep it going. Okay, results in 2 daughter cells. Well, over here in meiosis we have 4 daughter cells, and so for mitosis we'll put 2 daughter cells. All righty, y'all are doing great. We're about halfway through this thing, so let's keep it going. The next one says used to produce sex cells. Used to produce sex cells. That's going to be meiosis. Sex cells. Okay. Next one includes 8 phases. Includes 8 phases. Well, over here it's 4 with the PMAT, and over here we do PMAT twice for a total of 8. So 8 phases. Great work. All right, here's our last column on the far right. It says includes 2 cell divisions. Well, over here we put 1 cell division for mitosis, so this one's going to have 2 cell divisions. Okay, great work. The next one says half the chromosomes as the parent cells. So which one of these results in cells that have half the number as what we started with? That's going to be the meiosis over here. So half the chromosomes as parent cells. All right, y'all are doing great. Let's get through this. The next one says no change in chromosome number. No change in chromosome number. That's going to be mitosis. No change in chromosome number. The daughter cells are identical to the parent cells there. Okay. This one says results in haploid cells. Which of these results in haploid? Well, that's going to be our meiosis. So haploid. And then the last one says diploid. Which one of these is diploid? That's going to be our mitosis. All right, y'all. So there is our Venn diagram comparing and contrasting mitosis versus meiosis. You can see they're very similar, but there's some key differences, and those key differences are what we really want to focus on and make sure we understand before we take our test. So like I said, make sure you hold on to that. That's going to be helpful when you're trying to study and get ready for this thing. Any other work that your teacher has ready for you today, make sure to give that your best effort, and I hope everybody has a great day.